I want to make insulated blackout covers so I can camp in my car, but they have to be really easy to make, cheap, and I don't have a lot of time, so it has to be quick. I've seen a ton of great YouTube videos about how to make really impressive window covers, but they are all super complicated, and I don't live in my car. I just want to camp in it once in a while. Plus, I'm no expert at these things, and I don't think you should have to be either. So this is how you build window covers without the hassle, cost, and time. This is what my car looks like right now, and this is what it's going to look like tomorrow. So while blackout shades are great for sleeping and comfort, they might also be necessary for survival. For this, you're only going to need a few tools: a pair of scissors, maybe a utility knife, and a Sharpie. That's it. For the materials, we're using reflectix. I don't know how much of this we'll need, but we're going to find out together. The only other thing we'll need is foil tape, but we won't need that till later. Reflectix is great and easy to work with. It's basically a piece of reflective foil on the outside and bubble wrap in the middle. It's pretty much the only thing anyone uses, so this is all you really need to look at. You can find it at any Home Depot, Lowe's, or big box hardware store. I got mine at this place. Using a paper template or cardboard is really common, but it is totally unnecessary if you're trying to move fast. I don't think it's even that helpful if you're not trying to move fast. Let me show you why. For the record, now is probably not the time to take out the utility knife. You can just peel this sticker off. Turns out you can't really peel this sticker off. You can try. I admit defeat, and I'm just going to cut out the sections with sticker on them so the final shades look a bit nicer, where the seal meets the glass itself. I have a couple tricks for doing this, but I didn't discover them till later in the video. Now that we've dealt with that, you can take the roll and hold it up to the window to measure for length. I just sort of eyeballed it and used my scissors to cut it to length. At this point, your cut piece of reflectix should be quite a bit larger than the window. Using plenty of force, press the sheet into the edge of the window. Once that sheet is sitting snugly in the window, use your Sharpie to outline the edge. Remember to leave plenty of excess room. You can always cut out more, but you cannot add it back. And I learned that lesson the hard way on a future window. Next, just trim around your outline and put the shade back in the window to check for fit. That fits a lot better than I thought it would. So the lesson learned here is leave a lot of extra space on the outside when you're cutting. It is gonna need a little bit more trimming, however. Let me show you. This side could use a little bit more trimming, but that side is perfect. I cannot stress this enough. Take your time and do this process slowly. Cut just a little bit at a time and remeasure. Ironically, the slower you go, the less time this will take. Not really sure what to say. That was a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. Took me about 6 minutes to make that one. It doesn't look perfect, but it fits in there pretty snugly. From the back, it looks pretty good. Here's a quick tip. This ridge along the window, you can kind of press the cover down into there. So adding a little extra room actually helps it stay secure. The next window is where I ran into my first real issue. All right, not gonna lie, that one was a little bit more annoying. This is why. This bar extends to the inside and pushes it out. I don't feel great about this one, so let's see how it goes. Here's another quick tip. Using the back of the Sharpie can help press the reflectix into the window before you've started this trimming process. Not bad, actually. That is from the bump. After a healthy dose of trial and error and a whole bunch of marker on my pants, it fits great. The first window took 6 minutes. This one took a whole lot longer. But I've got a trick for the rest of them. Let me show you. Here's a quick tip. The windows on the right side and the left side of your car are the same thing, just backwards. So once you've finished one window, you can just trace the outline of it, cut it out, and you've got your other side. All right, let's see how long these front windows take to do. It's the same process up here. On the last window, I ran into my first issue. And on this one, I made my first big mistake. Of course, I'm gonna show you that, but I also picked up a few new tricks and tips on this one too. Made a mistake. That is not enough to cover a window. So if you wanna learn from my mistakes, just take it slow and easy, cut a little bit at a time. I got careless and this is what happened. So I tried again and looks good now. And of course, you can use the same template process on the front windows. Traced it out and fits great. This is annoying, but we do have to do these dinky little windows as well. For that, I'm just gonna use some of the scraps from the bigger windows. Something like this is perfect. I'll be honest, I was not excited about doing these windows, but I did get a stroke of good luck. I mean, that was officially the easiest one yet. I did not even have to trace it out. Last part, hardest part, the windshield. And I have some bad news. If I hadn't messed up that piece earlier, 25 feet would have been plenty, but it looks like it's not gonna be enough. The windshield shade is by far the hardest one to make, and that is for a few different reasons. Here's how I did it. Because the windshield isn't on a door and it doesn't open, it's hard to access. So the first step is laying out the reflectix to get a rough size. Another issue is that it's just a big piece of glass. So one sheet of the 24-inch reflectix doesn't cover it. That means we'll have to connect two pieces for this. To connect the pieces, we're using that foil tape. It works well because it's both flexible, it blends into the reflectix, and has the added benefit of insulative properties. I put a piece on both the inside and the outside of the cover, just to make sure they wouldn't come apart. With the pieces connected, I laid out the cover on top of the windshield and held it in place with the windshield wipers. Then I used my utility knife to cut a rough outline. Be very careful in this step. You do not want to scratch the paint of your car, the windshield, or the seal that holds them together. Once the rough outline is formed, we'll head back inside the car to make the final cuts. For this, it's more or less the same as the previous windows. Take your time and go slow. There is one difference, however. You'll need to cut a slit to make sure that the mirror fits in. This starts in the middle of the top and extends just below the stem of the mirror. Somehow I didn't get a clip of this step. There's a couple things you can do to make sure that this stays up on the front of your windshield. One is just to tape it up every night. That's super easy. What I like to do is just use my adjustable ski poles and push it up against the windshield. That's pretty easy too. Obviously that was annoying and I'm not even sure how well this is gonna work just yet. So it was cheap, it was pretty easy, and it was fast. They look okay, and tomorrow we'll figure out how they perform. The back window was shockingly easy. The rest, not quite as simple. But in the end, that only took me a couple hours from when I left my house to right now. All told, I used 35 feet of reflectix, one 25-foot by 24-inch roll, and one 10-foot roll. Of course, this could vary quite a bit depending on your car and patience level. Tomorrow, I'm headed up to Tahoe, and there is a lot of snow in the forecast. So if you want to see how these things work, hit subscribe. And check out this video if you want to see another adventure. Thanks for watching.